Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself an igloo. And you can see here, it uses a lot of snow layers, but otherwise it uses only things that are readily accessible in the snow biome, minus this flower here, that's optional, which means it should be really easy to build for just about anyone at any stage of the game. All you need is a silk touch pickaxe, and now the whole thing is buildable. And it even comes with storage, has villager storage, and can even fit a nether portal. So without further ado, let's investigate how we'd build this igloo. Starting off, you can see right here, flat area, pretty snowy, and all we need to do is start building a circle. I recommend making it decently large though. I have a circle generator provided in the description for further assistance on this. Something like this would probably work pretty well. Make sure that it is an odd number of blocks. If it is not an odd number of blocks, then you're going to have issues with the entrance and things like that. But if you can make it big enough like this, then potentially you can have more than one room that isn't the basement. And now I have this circle. Bring everything up by one block. Nothing too crazy here. We'll add some snow later in order to smooth it out further. And once you bring it up like this, then you can potentially use the sphere generator I provided below. Yes, a lot of generators today. But it's a good way to make your builds look absolutely gorgeous and mathematically accurate. Something like this would be the side of a sphere, maybe a little bit more smoothing on this. But when you smooth it out like that, then you can make a perfect dome. And when you make that, then your igloo will look really good. And then we can even add the snow layers later, although don't worry about this right now. Something like this will add some further detail into the build if you just keep adding more layers. And then once you're done with that, add a small entrance like this. And make sure that you get rid of the snow on the inside, more snow there, and then we can continue building that dome. Right here, I have an igloo, and everywhere else except the bottom, because I specifically added snow layers, well, it's kind of bland. I built a dome, and that's about it. And you want to avoid that. If you're just building a dome, like a normal Minecraft igloo, then you're not necessarily using snow to its full potential. This isn't something like a hot air balloon where you're building under concrete or terracotta, and thus don't have anything to add onto it. With access to snow layers, we should be using that strength to its fullest. And when we do that, then it turns into something more beautiful. Right here, when I place more snow layers, you can see it gets a bit more realistic, more depth. And post-production me speaking, this section of the video had a lot of awkward pauses. And well, when I add asymmetry, it looks better. Even though I don't include any in this build, I strongly recommend trying it out. Either way, continue adding your snow layers and you'll have a really good igloo. When you add the snow layers, you'll quickly notice that the effect I'm talking about doesn't necessarily work the best because you can see here, well, it didn't do too much. I kind of just added snow layers. So instead, you need to add something else to the effect, and that is a little bit of, as in, I'm going to take out a few blocks here and there and replace it with excessive amounts of snow layers. And then whenever you do this, then you get something, well, as I said, more interesting. That part works better without snow layers, so I should add string to it. Now, this sounds like an odd choice, but remember, it snows a lot in the snow biome, which makes it very irritating to build with. In order to snow in this area without fill commands, what it did to my poor lighthouse. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful with snow layers and how it snows. But of course, it's all solved with enough string and light. Right here, I added all the snow layers, then mirrored it, and then added ice windows here. And you can see how it's gotten a lot smoother. It's an interesting aesthetic, not everyone will like it, most likely, but still, it's certainly a way to build a more interesting igloo, even if normal blocks might be preferred. And then on the inside, you can chop out any block that is not visible on the outside or holding up another snow layer. Usually this is only a few blocks around the window, but who knows. Should probably check around and see what you can remove if need be. Of course, if I add back the blocks I removed, it looks slightly more natural, so it's up to you whether it's even worth removing them. Anyways, it's now time to work on this interior, which means we're gonna need some real blocks that isn't just found on the ground. You know, stuff that doesn't come from Snowman or going to a river with Silk Touch. So immediately, let's get rid of all the snow on the ground. Then, we have two options for planks. We can either do spruce, or we can use pale. Pale might blend in a little too much. While it does certainly fit the aesthetic, do we really want that is the thing. Maybe we need something that's a little bit more interesting per se. And also, I recommend using a spruce door for this. And now, maybe sink it in a few blocks or something like this in order to make it a bit more natural per se. But anyways, doing a bit more naturalization there, and then we need our string. This might get annoying in the doorway, but oh well. Then we can go in, start replacing the ground with some spruce, and it might be worth dividing it up into a few rooms. Although there isn't too much room on the inside, still, we can make at least one. So start by making pillars. Doesn't have to be a square room, that's the thing. And then when we make these pillars, we can stretch it onto the inside and then do something like this. And then now we have a bedroom. We can have the basement reserved for things like villagers or storage. Either way, try to make the most of your space or even dig into the ground a little in order to do a little bit more. Remember, you're using spruce now. You have stairs and slabs again. While you decorate the interior, by the way, increase the size of these windows. Absolutely amazing change. Strongly recommend it. Well, you're going to have to deal with something, and that is the fact that the windows can melt. Especially if you have furnaces in the room. You can see that I had to cram it into here because if it was any closer, all the ice would melt. So you need to be very careful around these windows. Fortunately, if you have something like this where the floor goes inward, by the way, here's how you do it. All you need to do is stairs. I don't think I needed to provide an explanation for that, but anyways, spruce logs on the bottom block of everything, and I'm going to try my best to not use any dark oak for this build because I use it way too much. But anyways, you can see here, closed eye blossom because it looked kind of snowy. I have a smoker here, then potentially I can hide a blast furnace somewhere in this room. But anyways, you can see I also decorated this. Notably, first time using blue orchids on the channel, mainly because blue orchids don't exist. Don't let the grocery stores lie. Those are dyed. But anyways, I have a little bedroom in there, which by the way, in the corner is for the basement. And then I can continue excavating, and notably the floor here is upside down barrels. So now you have some quick, easy storage for a relatively low cost place. All you need is a little bit of silk touch, or depending on how loot tables work, potentially you might just be able to raid something like an ancient city or a village in order to get the ice needed. But anyways, looks pretty good on the outside, and then on the inside, you can decorate it with wood to make it all nice and cozy. Whether you need it for more utility or if you want it to be decorations, up to you. But still, I recommend adding at least some carpet somewhere in the build. With a few extra decorations like a chair, notably instead of using a slab, I used a little bit of snow. And I'm not using any dark oak. The cartography table can be crafted out of any wood, so it doesn't count. And you can see, well, this room is looking pretty nice. Well, we have some storage here and brewing stands right there. So, it's not necessarily enough to live in, because let's be honest, who wants to use storage on the floor? So, going in here, see some basic decorations, nothing too crazy. Some trimmed armor, although hilariously, one funny face down there. But also, I don't expect anyone to actually have the diamonds to afford this with leisure, so, you know, maybe not. But then down here, it's now time to begin our basement. And what I recommend doing is turning this area into a storage room. Of course, you can have excessive amounts of chests like me. If you don't have 30 double chests lying around, maybe add more. Oh no, I was able to have 4 double chests for gray items and still ran out. But still, place some blocks behind it to signify what's being stored here, such as wool/concrete/terracotta, ores, things like that. decorative stones, main stones, wood, large categories, unless you want to get super specific like I usually do. Otherwise, this is all you should need in your average survival experience, or at least until you outgrow your igloo. Down here, you can see I've done a lot of decoration, so I should probably walk you through it. I mean, it's kind of why you're here. But anyways, first off, you can see I now have different sections for the chests, and the chests are now in. Stairs on the top so that way I can open the highest one. And then a little station in the middle, notably 7 furnaces. There's one hidden under the anvil. And then right here, there's an inactive nether portal. The reason why it's inactive and there's a flint and steel next to it is literally just because it was too loud. Because it's not very far from the actual living spaces. So going back down, you can see chests and then our actual things in the middle. I used some chiseled tough bricks on the bottom layer and then a little bit of this checkerboard between diorite and andesite, which makes it very easy to make in survival. And then right here, a little villager station. If you want to figure out how to build more of these, then I have a tutorial that should be appearing in the top right. Essentially, this design, if you give them enough food, will give you like twice the XP. So yeah, there's that. You can hypothetically expand this, but that's not within the scope of this video. And then right here, carpets, there's powder snow under them, so you can't take fall damage. And then the elevator, well, ladder, shaft, is 2 blocks wide, so that way I don't have to go all the way down, I can just womp. So right here, you can see we have a basement, and then going up, we have a living space. Outside looks pretty good, there's ample lighting everywhere, and then turning it to day, and you can see it fits right in with the rest of the snow biome. And it's still pretty visible from afar. I mean, let's say I go all the way over here. It's still, well, decently visible without any supporting structures near it. I mean, because how many snow layers I use on it, it makes it really jut out of the terrain versus something like a normal igloo, which there is one over there, but good luck spotting it. And now you can probably see it right here, and if you can't, maybe get your eyes checked. But anyways, the igloo is visible, it's ample sized, so it should work for early survival purposes. And yeah, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.